water for those
prompted county officials to issue warnings against drinking the water coming from Clear Lake. It's something that's become a yearly summer problem. Clear Lake has always had trace amounts of toxic algae present, but over the past 2 decades, environmental expert Sarah Ryan points out that the algae has started blooming.
A bloom is when you can see a whole lot of it in one area, whether it's sitting on the top or, totally in the water column.
Those blooms are not only raising alarms about the drinking water, they're also producing a smell that's making people queasy.
It smells like raw sewage and ammonia, and enough to make you nauseous.
Mother Nature has a way of keeping these blooms at bay. However, officials say runoff from fertilizers and storm drains are outcompeting with those natural safeguards.
What's been identified as the fix control the food sources that go into those water bodies.
David Welch, KCBS.
knockoff child car seats are starting to become a bigger problem, in part because of inflation. Everything's more expensive and people want to try and save a few bucks. And as KCBS's Dan Mitchinson reports, also because of the pandemic.
More parents were likely to go online to buy their car seat, and sometimes were linked to third-party sites where the seats could be damaged or counterfeit.
Even buying on Facebook that's used, you really don't know how that person previously took care of it or if that car seat was in a wreck.
Courtney Gleason is a trauma coordinator and certified child passenger safety technician at Orlando Health. Counterfeit car seats, she says, typically do not have the warning and information labels that appear on approved ones. So play it safe, pay a little more, and buy the seat from a known U.S. retailer.
Parents might try to return their car seat once they find out that it's counterfeit, but by that time they've already disappeared and they're out their money.
Dan Mitchinson, KCBS.
6 people have been arrested and cited for furnishing alcohol to minors in Menlo Park. The citations were issued during a decoy operation by the Menlo Park Police and the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, targeting adults who buy alcohol for people younger than 21. 6 people face a penalty of a minimum $1,000 fine and 24 hours of community service. KCBS News Time is 12:25.
Here's a company that's doing great in this economy. You might be surprised. I'm Jeff Coleman of Fortune magazine with the Fortune Business Update. It's Hermes, the French luxury goods company that sells handbags costing $10,000 or more, among other things. You might suppose that would be a tough business in a time of high inflation and near zero economic growth, but it's just the opposite. Wall Street analysts expected the company's revenue to rise 13% in the latest quarter. It actually rose 20%. Profit margins hit a record high. The company has raised prices twice this year, but consumers don't seem to mind. Performance was strong despite slow growth in China, a major market for Hermes. Tourists in France were still eager to buy the products. Hermes is expanding production to keep up with demand. And really, when times are tough, what could make you feel better than a $500 swimsuit or a $5,000 backpack? I'm Jeff Coleman.
There's still time this summer to explore the bounty of great day trips right here in the Bay Area. It's surprising how many Bay Area natives have never taken the time to visit a historic spot that's just a short boat ride away. CBS's Kim Wonderly with the details in this week's Road Report.
No, it's not Alcatraz. This getaway feels decidedly more vacation-y. I'm talking about Angel Island. Now, there's 2 ways to access Angel Island, the blue and gold fleet from Pier 41 in San Francisco, or you can also take a ferry from Tiburon out of Marin County. Now, Angel Island has long been known as the Ellis Island of the West, processing hundreds of thousands of immigrants between 1910 and 1940. But Angel Island's history stretches back to the Coast Miwok tribes, fast forward to the U.S. military ownership in 1848, eventually becoming a state park in 1962. These days, though, it's pure pleasure. Arriving by ferry at Ayala Cove, this is adjacent to a big picnic area if you've planned in advance, or you can check the menu at the Angel Island Cafe. Ayala Cove is also the place to rent a bike or an e-bike. There's a 5-mile perimeter road as well as 5. Or if you want to hoof it, you can enjoy many hiking opportunities which afford stellar views like the Northridge Trail that ascends to the top of Mount Livermore. That should take around an hour. Angel Island is is also a bird lover's paradise, so pack your binoculars. History lovers can still tour Civil War era buildings at Camp Reynolds and World War II era buildings at Fort McDowell, where there's also a museum. One thing to note, keep your eye on the time. You do not want to miss that last ferry back to the mainland from Angel Island. Kim Wonderly, KCBS.
From Kim Wonderly's Road Report, we go to Frank Munich with a road report of a different type.
Well, and unfortunately not as pleasant one, because we have a couple of problems. One is in the area very close to where we had a major problem just a few minutes ago. In fact, just about a half an hour ago. That problem was a multi-car injury crash westbound 80 before Powell Street, which had traffic backed up to Gilman at one point. Well, now we have yet another problem in that same stretch of traffic westbound 80 just before University Avenue in Berkeley. We have a crash blocking the two left lanes, and now that has stacked things up once again back to Gilman. We're looking at an accident still in the process of clearing northbound 280 at Ray Street in San Jose, a traffic break being done back at Highway 87. Your next update at 12:38 on the traffic leader KCBS.
Mostly cloudy overnight with areas of fog and a chance of drizzle at the coast, lows upper 50s and 60s. Later on today, we'll see decreasing clouds. It'll become partly cloudy at the coast, sunny along the bay. It'll be sunny all day. Inland highs, upper 60s at the coast, 70s along the bay, mid-80s inland.
There's magic in the world.
People will tell you there isn't.
They just want you to get back to work
Be quiet.
and not ask questions.
Those people need 1-800-GOT-JUNK
When you've seen the magic,
and felt the magic.
you can no longer deny the magic.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And now we call for a word from Charlotte, the junk fairy.
A friend is a person who always brings a little magic with them. Be a friend.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
News that matters to you. Around the bay, around the world, around the clock. All news, 106.9 and AM 740. KCBS.
It's Sunday, August 7th, 2022. Coming up on KCBS, more extreme weather hits states across the U.S. The U.S. Senate at this hour is debating the Democrats' climate, energy, health, and tax bill, and the Golden State Warriors help kids get ready to go back to school. I'm Peter Finch. The time is 12:31.
CBS News Brief. They call it Votorama, a weekend Senate marathon. Afterwards, Senate Democrats hope to pass a huge money bill they call the Inflation Reduction Act. Republicans call it many other things.
It's a 700-plus page bill that supporters say will reduce the national debt, cut energy costs, and help combat climate change.
All of which Republican opponents doubt. That's congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. For Jonathan Vigliotti in L.A., the assignment is freaky weather.
In and around California's Death Valley National Park, rescues are ongoing after 1,000 people were trapped inside as mud flows forced the shutdown of every entrance and damaged some 60 cars.
In the Middle East, sirens in Jerusalem.
Israel says military operations it has launched against Islamic Jihad militants in Gaza could last for a week. It carried out airstrikes, which the Palestinians say have hit residential blocks in Gaza City.
That is Sue Montgomery of the BBC. CBS News Brief, I'm Tom Foti.
KCBS News Time, 12:32. As we just heard on that update, the U.S. Senate is at this hour debating Democrats' sweeping climate and tax package. For more on that, KCBS's Dan Mitchinson talked earlier to Professor Jack Pitney, political scientist at Claremont McKenna College.
So the Vice President had the tie-breaking vote. No surprise it would come down to this?
That's right. The agreement was reached between Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, who was considered possibly to be a holdout, agreed to support it after
about this?
Well, there's several things. There is a corporate minimum tax rate. This doesn't apply to individuals, but Republicans are dead set against anything that is anywhere in the neighborhood of a tax increase. Also, IRS tax enforcement. It includes $80 billion over the next 10 years for IRS enforcement. New agents for the IRS, they want that. Climate change investments, not in favor of that. Pretty much the provisions of the bill as a whole aren't favorable to the Republicans.
What about the lower health care and prescription costs that are included in this? Is that going to be a tough sell? Will any Republicans jump on board with that?
That was probably going to be less controversial to certain Republicans, but even there, a lot of Republicans have ties to the pharmaceutical industry, and so they're not crazy about that one either.
So, is there anything that the Republicans like about this? Will there be any give and take?
No. To put it bluntly, there aren't going to be any Republican votes for this. That's why Vice President Harris needs to stay in the chamber, because she's casting a lot of tie-breaking votes.
How important do you think this is, getting this bill through to the Democrats ahead of the midterms?
It's not going to be make or break, but it's very important because Democrats for a while this year were kind of downcast that they hadn't made as much progress as they had wanted. Although this bill isn't as extensive as the original Build Back Better plan, it is substantial, and it's something that they can carry to their constituents.
Could pushing this back and not going along with Democrats come back to bite any of the Republicans in the midterms?
Do expect to see in some constituencies criticisms of the Republicans. Doesn't mean they're out of the woods. There are many other issues that the Republicans have to deal with this year, particularly abortion, which is not part of this package.
So what happens next with this package?
There is going to be substantial debate. There's so-called Photorama, in which there is going to be a very long series of amendments, one after the other, mostly for symbolic purposes, and then when the whole package is voted on by the Senate, again, very likely by a 50-50 vote with tiebreaker from the Vice President, it goes to the House of Representatives, where it's likely to secure passage.
So you think this is as certain can be at this point in time that this will go through for the Democrats?
Highly likely, but in the politics of Washington in 2022, nothing is totally certain.
That's Jack Pitney. He's a political scientist at Claremont McKenna College. KCBS News Time, 12:35.
Between 3 and 4 million students will be starting college in the coming weeks across the country. And in all the excitement of starting a new chapter in their life, it might be helpful to take a few minutes to discuss how students can get the most out of their college years. We tell our children 3 things. First, amid all the distractions, you're paying a great deal of money for an education, and that means attending class, all of them, hopefully in person. Have fun, but too much free time is not the best thing. So try to get involved, join clubs, and volunteer. You'll end up managing your time better. You'll get more out of the college experience. As one college president told my son's class, there is a huge buffet of things to do and experience at college. Do not make yourself a bologna sandwich. Experts say to avoid offering laundry lists of last-minute advice. One suggested that parents just remind their students that you respect them and trust their judgment before saying goodbye. We'll be saying hello again soon enough. With your next job, I'm Stephen Greenberg.
Millennial people live in a place not money. A young child, her job is to play, grow, and learn. For kids like her in the world's poorest places, poverty gets in the way. There was a time when Hazel had to trek more than 2 hours every day to collect water from a dirty river. Once, when she got a life-threatening infection and her mother had no money for a hospital, Hazel nearly died. The
sunny all day inland. Some expected highs for Sunday. San Francisco, 67 degrees downtown. Out at Ocean Beach and the western part of Golden Gate Park, where Outside Lands is going on, we're looking at a high of 64 degrees. Oakland, Mountain View, and SFO, 72 degrees. San Jose, Redwood City, and Napa looking to get up to 78 degrees later today. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Let's talk about America. Not taxes or tweets or the issues that divide us, but how incredible our country is. Left, right, up, down, state lines to winding coastlines. Whether you come home to a crowded city street, tree-lined suburb, or sleepy small town, everyone deserves to live in a clean, green, and thriving community. And we all share in the responsibility to create beauty that ripples from one neighborhood to another and one block to the next. We are Keep America Beautiful, the nonprofit working with millions of people just like you to end littering, improve recycling, and beautify our communities. Because every mindful action and sustainable habit has a positive impact, and it all adds up. Learn how you can join Keep America Beautiful at K. Together, we can do beautiful things.
KCBS News Time, 12:41 as our news watch continues early on a Sunday morning. The Golden State Warriors threw a back-to-school party in the plaza at Chase Center yesterday. Players and team officials handed out supplies to kick off the new year as part of the Warriors' Back to School in the Bay initiative. KCBS's David Welch reports.
There were plenty of students and parents stocking up for the start of the school year.
When does school start, Eric?
I forgot. Wednesday. Eric's dad, also named Eric, said he's grateful to the Warriors for making the new school year easier for his family.
It's the first time here. It's great. We live a few blocks away.
There were lots of teachers and administrators feeling grateful as well. Cecily Frost is a principal in Oakland.
There are so many shortages that we're dealing with right now because of COVID. So to have the opportunity to come and get some backpacks for our students and school supplies so that every student has a chance to feel successful and be successful is just so overwhelming.
And she says the giveaway has everything she and her students will need to start the new year off right.
There are notebooks,